Hi, I'm high and I know why. Thoughts of you make me high. Thoughts of you make me fly. You are so fly, you fly high on my mind is your wide sky. And that's why I'm high on you. My name is Sammy Hassan, and I'm a storyteller. I'm also known as a poet, as a writer, and a filmmaker. But all of these, in my opinion, are expressions of a storyteller. The first time I told a story, I was like 7, I think. I had come back home from school. It was a weekend, I think, on a Saturday. And we were waiting for breakfast for my cousins. And they said, tell us a story. I said, what story? They tell us a story of a movie you've seen. But the point was, we had seen the same movies together. So I started to tell them a story of a movie. And they said, nah, we've seen that one. So I sat another one and said, nah, we've seen that one. Then I said, but we all have seen the same films. We live in the same house and we have the same experiences. So they said, tell us a story of a film that we haven't seen. And suddenly, I began to tell a story that was new. It was not a film I'd seen, but I started to create a story at the age of 7. And while I was doing that story, my mother walked behind me, came to stand behind me and stopped. She stopped and listened for a minute or two. There was a little smile on her face. And then before she walked out, she turned to my cousins and said, it's a lie. There's no film like that. And that was the first time I told the story. The first time I came across spoken word, I was 13 or 14. And I was watching television in Jos, where I grew up, and Radio Sunsplash was on. So all the artists were singing and performing. Before then, I was quite interested in music. And while they were singing and performing, a particular man came up on stage. He had no shirt on. He had dreadlocks so long that he touched his waist. He was wearing army fatigues, army boots, and then he was prancing on the stage, grabbing the microphone like he was holding a guitar or his girlfriend or a woman, like he was dancing, and he was just speaking into the microphone. It's no good to live in a white man country too long. And I said, oh, what's going on? Blacks in England, what is your plan? It's no good to live in a white man country too long. And I was sitting beside my mother and she was looking and she was quite engrossed, and I look at the TV, I look at her, look at the TV, I look at her, and I said, Mommy, what's he doing? She said, I think he's doing some poetry. I said, really? I like to do that kind of stuff. So that began my artistic journey in particular. Before then, I've had instances where I've been challenged to tell imaginative stories in school with classmates, and I've always done it. By the time I was 14, in boarding school, I was quite talkative, and I'll get punished regularly. So one day, I realized the way to tell my stories was not to speak in class, but to write it in a book. And that began my journey into writing, into spoken word, into, music. I took a number of years and trained myself in every kind of writing I could find. I wrote film, I wrote novel, I wrote short stories, I wrote plays, I wrote puns, I wrote jokes. The only thing I didn't write were business plans, which I still have difficulty writing till today, But I just poured myself, my whole heart, my whole being into telling stories. So whatever I do is about telling stories. I believe that the most important part of culture, the most vital part of civilization is your ability to tell and share stories. I believe that it's either we're telling stories of what we've already had, or we're telling ourselves stories of what we're going to have. It's really all about story. A vision, a dream, a purpose, a destiny is a story yet to be told. So that's what it is. It's about storytelling. And that's what I see myself as. I see myself as a reflection of the God or the Creator who made me. And this is my best and highest form of worship, to tell stories that will inspire. So I've spent all my life telling stories, from the poems, some of the documentaries I've made, the different kind of stories. There's stories you tell that's totally imaginative. There's stories that you tell that already happened, or there's stories that you're foretelling. It's really all about stories. Some years ago, I always wanted to do the spoken word, but I kind of felt that this country is not ready for this. Some years ago when I turned a corner in my life, I was past 30. I asked myself, what is it you want in your life? Do you want to play it safe? Do you want to live a safe life? Or do you want to do what you believe you are sent on earth to do? So I spent some time, on my face, on my knees before my Creator and speaking and asking, what shall I do? And he said, do that thing I told you. I said, what thing? That thing I told you. And it was storytelling using spoken word. Spoken word allowed me to express all my giftings at that point in time. My desire to write, my desire to perform, because I'd done some acting, my desire to perform, my desire to write, my desire to act, and then my desire to teach, and then desire to tell stories. So it was a platform, it was a vehicle for complete expression of self. When I started, everybody was laughing. They said, you must be mad. This is not going anywhere. How are you going to do this? I was working for Ovation magazine, so I resigned and decided to focus on this. I kept on getting job offers from other places. Why don't you come and do some work? I said, no. If this is going to kill me, then let me die. One particular time, I felt ill. I had no money to buy drugs. And some people came and said, oh, I want to do a little poetry event. That was long before the thing became popular. Like, I want to do a poetry event. Why don't you come? And I said, I don't have any money to come. It's okay, we'll come and get you. Well, I'm not feeling too good. I said, I can't come. But they said, if you don't come, it's not going to work. So I said, okay, let me go. So I went for this poetry reading. And I said I was going to just do one poem. Well, when I was performing that one poem, I felt better. So I told them, let me do another one. So I did a second one. And I stopped. Then I started feeling sick again. So I said, you know what, can I do a third one? So the more I performed, the better I felt. Eventually I came back home and I realized that sometimes your life, the essence of your life is deeply entrenched in your purpose. When you give expression to that calling, to that purpose, you get life. Life is purpose inside out. Purpose is life inside in. That's what it is. So when you give yourself to your purpose, what you're gaining is life, because the purpose of your life is a life of purpose.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and most importantly, share. And wait. Also, don't forget to turn on post notification. Bye.